All right, let me turn this one off. What about now? Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, cool. Huh, I think it was double cameras up or something. Sorry about that. So now I got to start all over again. I didn't see you saying that, Eli. So, well, for a second we could. So you can't hear me again? Come on. Okay, cool. Hopefully it stayed there. I don't know what's going on. So let me go back. So since y'all didn't hear anything I said, welcome to Reptiles and Cocktails. Um, episode 86, where we're going to be talking specifically about the Odium gene today. Hey Brittany, hey Ken. I am not an expert in this gene. No one is really at this particular point, not even the creator or the producer himself. So we are going to be talking a little bit more in detail, and I'm going to share a lot of pictures because a lot of times when people are not familiar with the Odium gene, it seems that, visuals help. For YouTube purposes, if you see on the thumbnail, I have permission in writing to use this picture, any video, and anything that I need to use from the New England Reptile Distributor. So please do not demonetize this video. I have it in writing. You can get it. But I am going to share a lot of pictures specifically from nerd because, as you know, this is a nerd gene. This is a Kevin McCurley gene. He imported an animal, started producing with this animal, and noticed that the animal had this weird color pattern where it was like almost like an invisible visible line in between the dorsal and the sides of the animals. And then to notice that as he produced the gene more and more, that it did not do the same thing over and over again, like different combos. It does something different. One of the things that I am passionate about and I'm testing right now, and I'll share with you guys, my first Odium clutch, my first clutch with Odium in it, I produced this year. And it is very interesting to see how the pattern changes, not even just from as the animal aged, but how it changes when the animal eats, which is something typically you see quite often in larger snakes like the burms and the reticulated pythons. They kind of like flame up a little bit, but you see it in this Odium gene as well. And I'm going to actually fed a couple of them the other day, so I'm going to share some photos of that too in comparison. Ken says, stop to get gas, but I got a lace het OG male and a black pearl het OG 50% het pod female. Awesome, Ken. Awesome. All right, so to start, I'll go into what I was saying that y'all gonna hear. This gene is unique in the fact that a lot of people, either if they did work with the Odium gene, they did not continue to work with it, or some people, and I'll share some of them as we go further into the broadcast, have worked with the Odium gene and share some of the things that they have also noticed. So one of the number one things that you would notice with this gene compared to others, if you were looking at a World of Ball Pythons or Morph Market, there's no specific identifications of this genetic except for that one defining thing that seems to be consistent is that the animal tends to have like this defining line in between the dorsal and the side pattern. But then that kind of fades away as it gets older. And as in some of these patterns, like what I did was I actually, the combo that I chose to do it with, I took a Ivory Pastel pod, which was possible yellow belly, which we know for sure now is yellow belly, and a super orange ring yellow belly banana Odium had pied and put them together. And just bear with me because there's a lot of pictures. I'll share a picture of the parents, and then we'll go into some of the babies, and then I'm going to compare it to some of the more work combos that Kevin may have done, or like one of the photos I'll share from you is off of Morph Market that Phil did from Finger Snakes. And then a couple other breeders have actually recently produced with these, and you'll see how the pattern changes in different combinations. So to start, so let's go. I'll start with the parents. So actually, if you're on my IG, you've seen this picture. So that's the dad. Dad is the Ivory Pastel. I mean, the dad is the Super OD Yellow Belly Banana Odium Head Pie. And the one thing I want y'all to notice when you see in the thumbnail, that's one of the babies. So that's actually the baby that came out with the banana yellow belly Odium pie, the visual pie. And that one, dad looked very similar to that when he was younger, to my understanding. But then as he got older, you can see those grays or greenish patterns kind of fade out, and it looks much bigger. And it kind of like widened the side patterns much more, and kind of, you can still see the defining line though in dad. If you look right around his dorsal, you can see the defining line, and you'll see that the top of the snake is much darker than the side of the snake. And that is like a good expression of, if you look at the baby, actually here's the baby. This is baby boy. And if you can see in baby boy, you can see a lot of the grays or greens still in him. You see the orange, of course, you know, some of that is driven by the OD that's in him as well. And then you can see how there is limited or lesser white in the side pattern than it is in dad now. Dad is a whole lot more, the pattern is a whole lot more reduced than dad. So that's one of the changes that happened with this gene in this particular combo. You're going to see that it's all different in different combos. To share some other photos of that clutch, I think she actually produced 5 eggs. 1, 2, 3, no, 4. So she had 5. One of them was definitely a dud from the beginning. And we are, put this here. Okay, here we go. So these are pictures of where I was telling you that they ate, but I'm going to show you the ones before they ate first, because you'll see like the differences in what I was actually saying with them. This is actually a good expression here of an Odium without, this is just a single gene Odium. So in this, and then when I show you one of the babies that I'm going to show you that I produce, you can see in this combo doesn't have the OD in it, but you can see the defining line, but it's not as defining in this pattern as you're going to see it in other patterns. So that's an example of that. Now, if I come down to this one, so this is after they ate today. So you can see the line in this one right between the dorsal, and you can see it like more defining if she didn't eat. When she eats, kind of like that, it blows it out a little bit more, but you can see the defining line. It goes straight down the dorsal, and you can even see, like, you can see the darkness at the top of the dorsal, and if you come down, that color, that OD and that color right there is really, really bright. That is one of them that definitely had it. Now, this one, we wasn't sure if she had it, but as she gets bigger, you're seeing it even in this pod form, just like the banana pod, you're starting to see that defining line come into this one too. So this is one of the ones that I didn't think it had it at all as a baby, but another effect of the odium gene is that sometimes it actually establishes itself more and more as that animal gets older. You get to see its expression more as it actually gets older. And this one, as y'all know, is Crooklyn. Crooklyn is the one that's actually born with the defect. And Crooklyn actually is doing really, really well. As you can see, this is actually a weaned rat. I didn't know if she would ever be able to eat past a rat pup. But Crooklyn also, you can see the defining in the dark. If you look at the side patterns and see how the OD is coming out and it's expressed, but you can see how it's really dark at the top and then it gets right aligned and then there's this brightness come in. And as this snake gets older, you're going to see that brightness come up and kind of fade out that darker color in the dorsal more and more and more. That's one significant thing of it. The reason why I want to work with him more is because I really want to put odium into the, like, for me and other combos, and one of them is my blackhead cinnamon my blackhead cinnamon project, and then leopard is being added into that. And I'm doing ultra mild leopard blackhead combos, and I want to put odium into that. But I want to produce those first, grow them up, and then take some of the odium, hoping that I get a single gene odium out of the next touch, because I'm going to continue to breed that same combo to get as many expressions of the same parent as I can, to kind of, with my own notes, figure out what's actually going on with the genetics and what's going on inside the continuous breeding of these animals. And if we can get some more definitive thoughts of then just thinking that it's polygenic, and even outside of that, for me though, what it does to different combos, like, it just really, I just like what it does. So, like, in this particular case, this might be Phil's, I think. I can't see it here. It's a pastel super inchy odium possible Lucifer. And you're going to see, like, on Morph Market, a lot of it has been paired to Fader or Lucifer. A lot of the nerd genes. I can tell you that Jeremy works with it a lot. From Brassman, Phil definitely works with it. I know that Big Geese Python work with it on some scale as well. So hopefully we could continue to see people working with the gene, and that we can see different expressions of it. This is a good expression of it as it's worked into the cinnamon pastel hobby. So again, you can see this is the older one actually sitting on eggs, and how that defining line between the side and the dorsal actually is a little bit more expanded than it was when it was smaller. And that's one of the fun things that you get to see in progression. And that's why all of those are held back. I'm holding them all back just so I can see what happens. Let me just go into the chat for a minute. I don't know, miss any comments? I need to see these. I know nothing about Odium. Got you, bro. Keisha, what's up, Keisha? Keisha, thank you for sharing a little bit of what you're doing over there this week. You know, Keisha be silent. Spicy, good morning or good afternoon. Kind of like a tiger stripe. Spicy has many different names. Incognito. You heard her, Mike. It probably will look good with Monarch too. I love blackhead, Elijah. So if you don't know, I work a lot of blackhead over here. Blackhead was one of the first genes that I definitely wanted. Blackhead, black pastel, black everything. When I first started, before I bought any of the bright stuff, I bought all of the dark stuff, the cinnamon, all of that I got before I got those combos, before I got the lighter stuff. So yeah, so even in this one of my last clutches, there most of them, all of them came out with the leopard genes, even the ones that look like they are like lighter or white. If you look at them, they almost look blue down the dorsal and down to the tail because of the leopard that's coming in through them. So yeah. So hey, Ro. Good afternoon, Ro. Nameless. What's up, bro? Still fussing about what your mouth. So to go back, I'm gonna go into some more of the different. This one I thought was pretty cool because I never saw this combo. So this one is the Ivory combo with Orion and Odium. It's crazy. Y'all can't see in this picture. If you look on Morph Market, even in this all white snake, you can see the defining line down the dorsal on this particular animal. One of the other things you will notice, and I'll share that in detail because I think I have it in here. I'm show you this. This was a pastel spinner Odium. This one was really, really cool because you can see the defining line. So this is why I want to put it in with cinnamon and blackhead. You can, like in this snake, the defining line is there. So in another vision that I have is putting that into like a ultramel lace combo and see how Odium will work with that. In my world, in my perfect world, I would hope that the lace falls right below where that Odium line is, pretty much. If we did like a cinnamon lace combo or something like that, I think that would be pretty cool with Odium. But again, it's so much that we haven't seen with the gene that can be worked in it. This is a Lucifer yellow belly fader Odium. This is definitely nerd. I was going to say, yeah, that's definitely nerd. But Brassman would probably have this very same snake or very similar snake or further along snake because he works it as well. So, you know, as you can see, in this particular snake, I still would want to see something else in it, you know, going and working with the Odium because I just don't, you know, particularly like that color pattern working together. But I think if that same snake had darker colors, darker patterns on the side, it would definitely be a nicer snake with the Odium. And maybe if there was more white in it, you know. So I think it's still, again, so many different combinations you can do and you can work with Odium. I'm choosing to work it with the OD because kind of like in that one snake, that spinner combo, I like how it takes the orange of the OD and make it one color here and then brighten it up there. I would love to see that with some type of G stripe, you know, something that gives a very strong dorsal back to it, and then see how it actually works with the side patterns and the dorsal with that particular combination as well. But so many different opportunities and so many different things to do with it. And then a lot of the genes that is worked into it already, I don't know anything about. Like, I've never worked with Lucifer. I never worked with Fader, although, you know, I read a lot about it because of what's in the books and stuff like that. I've never worked with it. So I don't have anything. The cool thing is I'm not even attempted to breed the Odium into those combos because of the fact that I am more excited to see new combos with it. And just to see if, you know, is there a combo that it does create some consistency with, you know, maybe, you know, if we utilize it more and we start to breed it more, we will see combos that it does. I can tell you that Phil and Big D Pythons did a awesome breeding with the Odium in their combos this year, and it produced some amazing animals. So it's just to see it worked more, understood a little bit more. No, the sound went out, Mike. Y'all playing. Elias said, I did not know that blackhead leopard heavy got orange string to make some pumpkin looking snakes. Yep. Yeah, I have quite a few. Actually, I should be able to create some Batmans this year with some of my leopard combos. I had quite a bit, you know, because again, that's another thing when it comes to genetics and talking about like an Odium being one of my passion projects. When I first started like purchasing, you know, get this genetic, and get this genetic. And now it's like, get these genes and get this genes. And everybody want to work with these genes. I think you really still have to stay focused on those things that you personally are passionate about, because by the time it gets 3 years later, like, Yes, clown, for example, the price of a single gene clown declined, but clown still worked in other combos are amazing. But I feel that same way about, some pastel combos. So I think that you have to still like do what you actually are passionate about, what you like to look at, what you like to see. I mean, Keys say that a lot. Fred and AJ always been, what they're doing over there is what they're doing. It's not to, keep up with nobody else and what everybody doing, what everybody else doing. They want unique animals that nobody else is like producing. And then to see people who are definitely like working with the noun genes and to see what they can do, like Monsoon. I would love to buy into Monsoon, but I need to see more of it first for the price that it is. I felt the same way about Orange Ring when Orange Ring first blew up. I was like, yeah, okay, I just need to see more of it. And then once I started to see more of it in different combos, and that's when I started to buy in to more of the Orange Ring and the Desert Ghost combos, like those type of things were things that great. It looks great, it's beautiful. But even now, as we talk about DG, DG was 5 years ago, you had a must have, and like now, some people question if they want to hold on to it. I love it. I will always love it, but it all depends on what you're working on, because I think that's what keep you passionate, especially at these particular times, is when you're just excited about what's coming out the egg that you wanted to see first. Oh, Keisha said she has fader. She loves it. Yeah, I've never worked with it. In fact, like Keisha, I don't even think I really started like looking into it like that until I started like studying the Odium stuff, because a lot of the Odium was with the fader or the Lucifer, worked into those combos to just kind of see the different patterns you would get. Damn, what don't you have, Keisha? She's not going to tell you. All right, so going into detail, and I'll pull it up on the screen because this is always so easier for me to read than to read it from my phone. Let me get here. So this is actually just an expression. Kevin, this is a simpler gene, but he kind of showing you like, it's still there, but you don't see it as much as you can see it in the other combos like this. So it's actually one. If you want to see some really good videos, it's funny because Kevin has done so many of these videos, but it's funny how it's just still never figured out when it comes to what it does. And as he'll say, like, who knows what's going to be produced next from it. But it does have some consistency somewhat into what it does with different animals. What is not consistent in is the actual visual. Like, you could never tell somebody that if you're working with Odium, this or that is going to actually happen at this particular point. But there's going to be a defining line. That animal changes drastically with a pattern. It becomes more and more reduced on the sides as it gets older. That there is the tail is also, like I noticed on some of my Odium combos, the tail has a very unique pattern. Well, actually, I think it says it here. The tail of the Odium ball python is usually dominated by messy alien heads on either side of the dorsal stripe. So that's one of the things that I noticed even in the pod one. But so I'll pull this up. The body of the Odium ball python usually starts out with bright yellow coloration that fades with age between jet black with a puzzle-like pattern between banded and splattered alien heads. The gene by itself is not the most dramatic in appearance. However, the key element of this gene is the defining line along the sides of the animal. The sides of the animal appear darker than the dorsal line. And so that's, we pointed that out a couple times. It's practically straight down each side. This element is important. In certain combos, it can be a challenge to see in other combos. It is clear as day in many hidden gene warmer combos with Odium, and they are very easy to notice as the reactive nature of the hidden gene warmer plays well with it. Some combos will just look off. The color may be abnormal to what you would typically see even in those more subtle combos. Like, for example, the Silky Ways that FNA produce look a lot like to me with the Odium banana combo. Some people also think it looks a lot like ultramel, which one of the reasons why I want to work the ultramel into the Odium to see how it actually appears, comparison to how it appears with like the banana combos with other lighter combos, or maybe like a super inchy combo or something like that. And then when it comes to, often the gene requires a bit of time to express itself, especially that dissolving of melanin. And so that's what I'm seeing. That's one of the clear things I'm seeing with the animals that I held back, is that the baby animal is starting to look totally different from the growing animal. And then some of the ones that are growing more advanced, especially the pods are actually losing like this grayish color, and it's becoming like this real grayish color in the pod combo. So, but that's pretty much Odium in a nutshell. Again, my goal is to see, hopefully, that other people who are working with it will share more information on it. As you know, we continue to work with it. It will continue to be a passion project for mine that I'm working on the side from everything else, because anything that I produce with the Odium is pretty much hold back, just because I want to see it heavily worked to some extent, to just see if there's something that I can personally find that is more defining of the gene long term. So that's all I have. And then later on this evening, I got to do my shout out to Sophisticated Ignorance. Make sure that you tap in tonight at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9:10 his time. And then for those of you in the DMV area, we will be November 11th, 2023, Gettysburg Reptile Expo. We have definitely some cool ball pythons that were requested. I'll be bringing a couple of them also pre-sale, and then I will have the remainder of their reticulated pythons that I do have that I am not holding back. I decided to keep back another one, y'all. It's the normal. Interesting. So this is kind of like mimic. So that's weird. So that's what I felt about the mimic gene. I think I shared that with somebody when I saw it. It really gave me the mimic vibes. In fact, if you look at the baby mimic and look at that baby Silky Ways, they look a lot alike. So I just, again, just kind of want to see what it does. But yes, even if you look at the dad that I showed you, dad is the baby looking like that, the baby, and then growing up looking like him stuff, it kind of does remind you of that mimic gene. That was the question that I had when I saw it. I was like, is this any way possible related to the Odium gene? Because it did kind of remind me of that in its way of progression, especially in some of the more manifested combos. So yeah, I'm excited too. So just and it's like I said, plug different stuff in it, including a leopard. Like I would like to take, if I produce a single gene leopard and put a single gene Odium to that and create leopard Odium and see what that will look like together. Like it's just so many things as simple as that I would just love to see how it can evolve, especially when I can pair them back. I can roll them up and pair them back together. Like this second clutch of the dad is going to produce with the same exact mom. I want to see because she'll probably have more eggs. And if she has more eggs, will all of these come out looking like the last clutch? Or will Odium express itself in many different ways in this new clutch? I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see in this clutch that they're working on now, when I produce that, are they going to be identical? When I pair them back, does it magnify the Odium? Does it magnify the combinations together? It's just so much. That, for me, this is the fun part. This is the fun part, to be able to create things that you like, you enjoy, and you want to see. And I think that if you hold on to that fun part, the other part that some people are struggling with right now would not matter. It would, because the passion of just breeding the animals, producing the animals, seeing life come out the eggs that you enjoy producing will be number one, and everything else will be secondary to that. So I appreciate everybody who tuned in today. I am going to go ahead and get my weekend somewhat started. I'm going to have a fun weekend today. I get to celebrate my cousin-in-law birthday tomorrow, and get some things done around the house. And my grandkids are my grandson's birthday was the other day, so one of his gifts was, which is really funny, to buy him tickets to Disney on Ice, but of course his mom, and his siblings. And so his mother go, "You want all of us to go? You just wanted to be me and you?" He said, you can stay here with Trey. Me and Scott can go, like him and his sister was gonna go by themselves. See you later, bro. See you tonight. Just like him and his sister was going to go by themselves. So it's really, really cool. So I hope he has a really good time. But everybody have an amazing day. Stay focused. Monday, tune into Two Peas in the Podcast. We're going to be talking about something very directly, but we want to try to keep it classy. Lord Jesus, but I'm gonna have to give Dre a pill. But we're going to be talking about just changing that dividing line of race in the reptile community, and how we can work together to do that. And then Dre definitely wanted to address a specific situation that prompted this, but I need him to be focused so that we can have a productive conversation. So yeah, tune in Monday. Two Peas in the Podcast. Peace.